Well, children could soon be limited to minimum or zero contact sports. Peak medical bodies have released a position statement on chronic traumatic encephalopathy and its link to head trauma. It follows a Senate inquiry into the issue earlier this year, which showed a rise in brain damage among former athletes, such as Graham Farmer and Paul Green. We've had some of those athletes here. Under the proposed changes, a comprehensive history of brain injuries will be included in medical records following a push by pathologists to do that. Joining us live now is Australian Sports Brain Bank founder and Executive Director Michael Buckland. Michael, appreciate your time. We've done a lot on this story. We've done a lot on this issue. We've had former players here talking about it as well. It's the tip of the iceberg, I feel. It's only going to get bigger as more time progresses. So the children is an interesting angle, though, that we haven't done a lot of. So how do you limit children to zero contact sport?
Look, thanks, Peter, and thanks for having me on. As you alluded to, that was part of a suite of recommendations released from the Royal College of Pathologists yesterday. And really the centrepiece of that was an acknowledgement of the causal link between exposure to repeated head impacts and later in life neurodegenerative disease such as CTE. The data we have to date here in Australia shows that Australian contact sports such as rugby league, rugby union and Australian rules football, their incidence, as far as we can tell so far, the incidence or prevalence of CTE in those at-risk populations is pretty similar to what they're seeing in American football.
Yeah.
And data from American football shows that if you start playing as a child contact sports, you have significantly higher risk of later in life neurodegenerative disease. And also you can actually see changes in adult brain structure in people that started playing contact sports as children versus those that started later in life.
Yeah, see, there's also, I mean, I guess it extends to soccer as well because, you know, kids, and I played it as a kid all the time, you know, you're heading the ball, sometimes at great distances. But, I mean, there's always going to be league, there's always going to be union, there's always going to be AFL. I mean, how do you play those sports without contact, though? It essentially just becomes touch footy, right?
Yes, well, certainly the recommendations are not prescriptive for any individual sport. And the way it's going to work is by everyone working together. And Amanda Green was at the launch yesterday, wife of the late Paul Green. Yeah. And she said she really wants the codes to come on board. And if we work together, we can solve the problem. How does it look? I'm not an expert in the rules of AFL or rugby league, but what I do know is that the modern games of those sports look very different to what I was watching as a kid 30 or 40 years ago.
Sure.
So it's not like rule changes are something new, but I think we have to go where the evidence is leading us, and that is there's a problem here, and I think any parent needs to be fully informed and make an informed decision to look after their children.
Michael, good to chat with you this morning. It was brief, but important to share that view. Thank you. We'll talk to you again soon.